Good evening, my name is Sergeant Brzoska, and today we're going to be going over moving under direct enemy fire. Overall risk assessment for this is low. Things what it got pretty dark out here. We burned a lot of daylight. We've got lights to cover for that. We've got it lit up pretty well out here. That being said, still watch your footing. There's a lot of rocks, there's a lot of sticks on the ground, a few divots. Just make sure you're being careful. Don't trip and fall. Lastly, I'm sure there's ants and spiders around. Just watch out for the wildlife. Steer clear of it. It is the duty and responsibility of all soldiers and DA civilians to protect and preserve the environment. So let's talk about the security. Today, our current FPCon is Bravo. Foreign disclosure. This training product has been reviewed by training developers in coordination with the G2 Fort Benning, Georgia 31905 Foreign Disclosure Officer. This training product can be used to instruct international military students from all approved countries without restrictions. So your task today is going to be moving under direct fire. Your condition: you are a member of a team conducting movement to contact, and you are under fire from an enemy position that is 250 to 300 meters away from your position. That's that cardboard box in the back. You have an individual weapon, individual combat equipment, and a current firing position that provides cover from the enemy's direct fire. That's this line right here. That is your starting point. You're going to select a movement route, communicate your intent. These are your standards. You are going to select a movement route, communicate your intent to move, and to press enemy fire as needed. Conduct movement using the appropriate techniques based on situation and terrain, and occupy firing position 100 meters from the enemy and engage the enemy. So the appropriate movement techniques are going to be the high crawl, the low crawl, and the 3 to 5 second rush. You're going to high crawl. This is going to be your high cover. You're going to high crawl from the starting point to here. This is your low cover. You're going to go from high crawling to low crawling all the way up to here. This is open field here. You're going to 3 to 5 second rush all the way to your firing position right here. And then you're going to engage the enemy. Every time you stop, or every time you're about to start moving, you need to signal that you need suppressive fire. You're going to do that with this arm signal. So before we start, I'm going to give you a demonstration of how this is supposed to look. Then I'm going to break it down for you into each individual section. This is my weapon. Start from here and high crawl to my first location. Then I'm going to signal for suppressive fire, and then I'm going to begin low crawling to the next destination. I'm at my next destination. I'm going to signal for suppressive fire. Then we're going to start a 3 to 5 second rush. Then from here, we're going to engage the enemy. Alright, so now let's break down these parts. I'm going to read the performance steps, then I'm going to show you how to do it. The high crawl lets you move faster than the low crawl and still gives you a low silhouette. Use this crawl when there is good cover and concealment, but enemy fire prevents you from getting up. Step 1, keep your body off the ground. Step 2, rest your weight on your forearms and lower legs. Step 3, cradle your weapon in your arms. Step 4, keep the muzzle of the weapon off the ground. Step 5, keep your knees well behind your buttocks so it stays low. Step 6, move forward by alternatively advancing your right elbow and left knee, then your left elbow and your right knee. I'm going to break this down and show you what it looks like. So you're cradling your weapon while you're down here. Your weapon should not touch the ground. You're cradling it with both arms. When you're ready to move, from down here, you're holding up your upper body with your elbows. Your right knee is going to come up and your left elbow is going to go up. You're going to push with your right leg up to your right elbow. Your left knee is going to come up and then you're going to push with your left knee and your right elbow. Any questions? All right, so now I'm going to read the performance steps of the low crawl. The low crawl gives you the lowest silhouette. It is used across places where the cover and or concealment are very low and enemy fire or observation prevents you from getting up. Step 1, keep your body as flat to the ground as possible. Grasp the sling of your weapon at the upper sling swivel with your right hand. I'll break this down after I go through all the objectives. Let the handguard rest on your forearm. Keep the muzzle of the weapon off the ground, then move forward. To move forward, you're going to push both your arms forward while pulling your right leg forward. Then you're going to pull on the ground with both of your arms and push with your right leg. You're going to repeat those steps until you reach your destination. Watch this demonstration. All right, so how you're going to grasp this? This is the muzzle of your weapon. This is the butt of your weapon. You're going to grab your sling right here and your weapon's going to rest on your forearm. So while you're down here, you're going to keep your head on the ground. You're going to extend both arms in front of you and bring your right leg up. And you're going to drag yourself up. And you're going to keep doing that until you reach your destination. So now we're going to go over the 3 to 5 second rush. Again, I'll read off the performance steps and then I'll break it down. Step 1, raise your head. Step 2, select your next position. Step 3, lower your head. Step 4, draw your arms into your body. Step 5, pull your right leg forward. Step 6, raise your body, get up quickly, and run for 3 to 5 seconds to your next position. Then you're going to stop, fall to your knees, slide your right hand down to the heel of your butt, to the heel of the butt of your weapon, and you're going to use the butt of your weapon to break your fall. And you're going to continue using these movement techniques until you get to your final firing position. So let me break that down. So you're going to start from here. We'll start from here, peek up, select your firing position, put your head back down, pull your arms in, put your leg up, and then you're going to push yourself up as fast as you can. Then you're going to run for 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to stop, fall to your knees, and use the butt of your weapon to break your fall. Now the last step is assuming your firing position 100 meters away from your enemies. That's pretty self-explanatory. So now I'm going to give you guys some time to practice, and then after that we'll go ahead and get into this test. I'll tell you what I'm looking for on this test. Your performance measures, selected an individual route that adhered to the instructions provided by your team leader. So that means you're going to follow the lanes. You're not going to run off way into the forest. You're not going to take off going back that way. You're not going to run away. Follow the path that I laid out. Communicated movement intent to buddy and team leader as appropriate using hand and arm signals. That's when you're calling for your suppressive fire before you move from one position to the next. Suppress the enemy as required. So if we were doing buddy teams, one of you would suppress while the other one was moving. We're not doing that, so we're just assuming that your suppressive fire is being given every time you give the signal. Conducted movement using appropriate techniques to reach each position. That means you high crawl to the high ground, or to the high cover, high concealment. You low crawl to the low cover, low concealment, and you sprint. You 3 to 5 second rushed to the last objective. Step 5, occupied your identified firing position with 100 meters of the enemy position. That means you raise your weapon and you started attacking the enemies. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys 2 minutes to practice that. While you're practicing, I'm going to walk around and make corrections and make sure you're doing it right. All right, at this time, we're going to start testing. I'm going to walk around and I'm going to grade you on those 5 performance steps. We will talk about the grades that you make after. You have 2 minutes to conduct this test. All right, so the test is over. At this time, let's go back over what was supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen today? We were supposed to do movement under direct fire. What did happen today? What are 3 things that we could have done better? What are 3 sustains? All right, so look, if you guys didn't do too good today, we're going to show back up tomorrow at 16:30, right here, same place, and we're going to go back over this. So I'll give you your test results before I dismiss y'all, but for right now, let's go back over the tasks, conditions, and standards. So your task was to move under direct fire. Your conditions, you were a member of a team conducting movement to contact and are under fire from an enemy position that is 250 to 300 meters away. You have an individual weapon, combat equipment, and current firing position that provides cover. Your standards were to select a movement route, communicate your intent to move, and suppress the enemy fire as needed. Conduct movement using appropriate techniques based on situation and terrain, and occupy that firing position within 100 meters of enemy position, engage the enemy. All right, so that's what was supposed to happen. So we'll go over your test results after we conduct a police call and pick up all this stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So, we police called the area. All of our equipment is accounted for. Good work today. So our overall safety risk was low. We came out here, we got bright lights, nobody tripped and fell, nobody messed with any wildlife. We had 0 casualties. So that's a good day. We already did our AAR. I'm missing my rank, but have to come back to find that tomorrow. So, does anybody have any questions for me? All right, so let's go over how I was grading you. So, on this test, there were you fit into 3 categories. It was T, P, or U. Trained, practiced, or untrained. If you got a trained, that means you scored a 100%. If you got a practiced, that means you passed, but you have room for improvement. If you got a U, I'll see you tomorrow. What can I say? You got a no-go at this station. Without further ado, you're dismissed. This concludes